What's the crack, lads? Welcome back to another epic pack review. We've got Patrick Vieira, Dennis Bergkamp, and Thomas Rosicky. So, lads, this has probably been one of the most anticipated releases, I think, since he was on the database. So, Patrick Vieira has been up on the database for ages. We are going to be checking out eFootball DB in just a couple of minutes. But, yeah, look, Paddy V, lads, he is, in my opinion, right? I have Makalele. I have a load of DMFs, Declan Rice. I think Patrick Vieira is the ultimate. I think he's definitely the best that I have used. Makalele is just trained a little bit better. That's why I play Makalele a little bit more than Vieira. And, you know, for that solid kind of, the way I trained my original Legend Vieira up, I wasn't able to get a high team playstyle because obviously he was one of the first players I signed. But this guy, man, absolute monster, box to box. He's got everything that you could possibly want to be your end game DMF. Now, is there good alternatives to him? Yes, there is, depending on your play style, your formation, your tactics, what way you set your team up. But pound for pound, I think he is the best DMF in the game, in my personal opinion, with how you can train him up. He plays even above his stats. The legend version that I have of him is insane. I know a lot of people have been waiting for him, but is he worth the hype? I think so. The only thing that he's missing really as a DMF is blocker. That's the only thing that stops him from being, I think, the ultimate, like, undisputed DMF. People will obviously, look to Makalele, they look to Davids, Rijkaard, Beckenbauer that can play DMF, Declan Rice is an amazing DMF, and they've got really good player skills as well. But I think this guy, lads, when you max him out, we're going to take a look here. He is the pick of the bunch, and this is how I would train him. This is very, very simple. But there is a couple of points to make here, right? So the first thing is with Patrick Vieira, anytime you kind of watch somebody train up players, or, when I'm advising, speed is a big, big part of any player, right? Because the way the game is played is it's all about passing or blocking the passing lanes. It's all about getting interceptions, turning over people in possession, hitting your opponent on the counterattack. But with Patrick Vieira, we're not going to pump up his acceleration and his offensive awareness too much because we want him to sit back naturally without having to rely on defensive play style or instructions, right? So if you are a newcomer to the game, that's a very important thing, is if you are playing a DMF, you do need to kind of change with where the gameplay is going to be going for V2.4 and onwards, which is going to be more kind of physical. And the speed is only going to get you so far, especially with a card like this. So we have gone for 3 into passing to bring his low pass up to 80. We've got 1 into dribbling to bring his tight possession up into 80. We've got 5 into dexterity to bring his acceleration up to 78. But more importantly, his balance up to 70. That will help because he's a tall player. And then we're really going to be pumping in 6 into aerial strength and 13 into defending. So 13 into defending, right? If you want to have a dominant stopper of the ball, I think you need to go up into the 90s with the defense, right? Now, this is where it kind of differs depending on how manual of a defender that you are, right? I think this would be the easiest version of Vieira to use. He will practically play for himself. He will play for you. There will be very little manual input you need to put into Vieira if you use a lot of pressing, and you let the AI kind of hold his shape, right? I will be doing a video on that. I know I've been putting it off for a while. But if you are more of a hands-on kind of that you like a well-rounded DMF, you could actually take this back to 90, right? So we'll leave the defensive engagement at 90. The defensive awareness at 84 is fine. This is my recommended build, right? But if you are looking for something a little bit different, and you do have a lot of DMF players that have high defensive awareness, like Makalele or Davids or Rice or whoever that you have, you could go the alternative route as well, which is more of a kind of a ball-playing Patrick Vieira. So all we'll be doing is taking 2 from aerial strength, 2 from defending, and then what we're going to be doing is just pumping up his dribbling just to be able to get up and down the pitch a little bit, up to 4, his passing up to 4, and then his dexterity up to 81. So that will mean that you have a more well-rounded midfielder. Still goes to 97 overall, but I do think the recommended build is where I would put him in the first one that I had. So yeah, you can have either option of him here. This is just obviously a training guide for how I would train him up. We've also got Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp is a very difficult player to use, lads. I have played with him on my other account. He does go to a 97 overall. I mean, every stat that you could possibly want, he has. Same as Vieira. He's got unwavering. He's on a B rating. He's got long-range curler, long-range shooting. He's got first-time shot, one-touch pass. Vieira is a very kind of like DMF, if that makes sense. But Bergkamp isn't really a striker's striker. He's more of a link-up man. So if you're playing an AMF like Messi, or you're playing somebody like Zico, or somebody that's top class, I don't think that Bergkamp is going to really do it for you unless you play specifically for Bergkamp, right? He's not Mbappe. He's not Romario. He's not going to be turn and dribble and score. This is more of kind of a patient build-up, knocking a lot of chances out, you know, bringing in the wingers, touching goals, spinning off the shoulder of the defender. So it depends your play style, man. Any good player can make any player in the game work for you if they're rated 80 or they're rated 100. It doesn't matter. Depends on obviously what you're doing with the pad a lot of the time, and it depends on the AI and how they control as well from game to game. But Dennis Bergkamp has got amazing skills. So what do we want to kind of raise up a little bit, right? Well, I think the biggest thing that you need to be doing with Bergkamp is his shooting, right? We're not going to focus too much on his speed. We're not going to focus too much on his acceleration. 73 and 74 is enough for what we're going to want to use him for. And there's no point. Like, look, we can take maybe 4 or 5 from shooting and put it into dexterity and get him up to 77. I don't think that it's going to make a big difference to his card, right? I think this is the best version of him. He goes to 96 overall with this one. You've got 94 ball control, 90 possession, tight possession, 90 offensive awareness, 83 kicking power, 80 balance, 87 finishing, and 84 curl. So because of his player skills, because of his actual ability with the stats here, it's a perfect mix. But you need to shoot. You need to play towards his skills. There is no point getting Bergkamp and trying for him to be Mbappe. There's no point getting Mbappe and trying for him to be Lewandowski or Bergkamp or Jan Koller or Ronaldo or Messi. You need to have a very, very, straight mind as to where you're going to play Bergkamp. And that is just sitting behind. I would put him sitting right behind 2 centre forwards, one big, one small. I'll show you an ideal formation in another video. And then last but not least, we have Rosicky. Now, this guy is probably not going to get many of the plaudits, obviously, compared to Bergkamp and Vieira. But I always had a soft spot for him, even though he did play for Arsenal and I'm a United fan. Excellent player skills, everything that you could want. And also then as well, when we max him out, this is the recommended. I would put him as a 93 AMF. You've got passing, you have got dribbling, you've got speed. 89 acceleration with 84 balance and 80 offensive awareness. Don't need more than that for an AMF. That's even a bit too much. The reason I've pumped up the dexterity so much is not for the acceleration, it's for the balance and the offensive awareness, so that he's making those runs as best as possible. Because he is a creative midfield playmaker, you need to push him up a little bit with his actual stats. Ball control, tight possession, low pass, excellent. The only thing I would say with this card is you can get a lot of shots with him with the outside curler and the knuckle shot, but it is going to be more difficult to shoot with him because he doesn't have the stats. But that is it, lads, from me. I'll be back quite soon. Let me know if you're going to spin or skip. Paddy V, absolute unit. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you in a bit. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.